The following TBT interview with Drake Wynter was pre-recorded on the 15th of May 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TBT Interviews. I'm Matt Burns, and tonight we have got Drake Winters with us.
Hi everyone. It's all right. It's great to be here on the TBT.
It's the best way. It's always we decided to just shorten it from it's going to be just the burning truth. Make it easier, TBT.
Yeah, works. It works.
Or as some might consider Throwback Thursday. But yeah, I will say you've been. How long have you been wrestling for?
Well, I debuted on shows at the end of 2015. I've been training those since 2013, so yeah, I've been in the business for a while.
So, is there anything you want to say about your back history in wrestling or anything? Any stories?
Well, I suppose I wanted to get into wrestling the same way a lot of people did. I watched it when I was a kid. Weirdly, I was that kid when I was a lot younger who always said, "Oh, wrestling's not for me." It's that sort of thing. But obviously, I started to appreciate it as I got a little bit older, sort of like the early 2000s, and then 2004 when I saw Benoit win the Rumble. He was someone who wasn't that tall because I'm not that tall myself, and I was like, yeah, I could see myself doing that, and that's when it all started for me.
Straight away, already mentioning the name of the man who shall not be named, but we straight away. But we don't mind. We don't mind. But the thing is, I can actually understand that because myself, I only stand around about 5'9". Wrestling boots, I did 2 inches, the 5'11".
Mm.
The infamous, but yeah, a lot of people can relate to a lot of wrestlers, and at times I feel when I was younger myself, being pulled into it, I actually started watching it during the Hogan years myself. I was there for the Hogan years, and came out of it for a bit. I don't know if it was like I lost it or anything. It was just not around for me to watch. And then when I got into high school, a group of lads started talking about it, and then I sort of got back. I sort of got back into it and regained my love for it, and I've never been so much prouder to keep at it.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
that's it. Like,
so where did you actually train initially?
well, I did a session or two at K-Star. I didn't really sort of, feel it was the right time for me at the time.
Yeah.
Like my girlfriend is now my wife, was pregnant. She was like soon to give birth. I didn't really want to stick with it that much back then. But then I went to AWW a few months later, and I've been training, pretty much non-stop since then.
Oh, Mazel tov, by the way.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. No, I can understand. So, was there any set style that anybody inspired you to become a wrestler? Any other wrestlers, like for example, anyone from WWE that got you wanted to become a wrestler?
I'd say it's probably the biggest ones being Bret Hart, Triple H. Probably mainly those two, Mr. Perfect as well.
One that a lot of people always recognise as a person who was never world champion. Should have been.
Yeah, Mr. Perfect would have been a great world champion, but I always appreciated his technical ability in the ring and his ability to tell a story even with really simple things.
Definitely. Oh, a good example would be one battle that comes to mind for me for Mr. Perfect involves Bret Hart, King of the Ring.
Yeah, great battle.
Absolutely fantastic. So, as the years went on, while you were in training, I take it you developed your own style. Have you got anybody you wanted to that inspired your wrestling style?
No, I mean I was kind of thinking about that like recently, and I kind of realized that my style isn't really sort of taken from anybody else. It's just stuff that I've put together myself, and that's something that a lot of people are giving me feedback about, and they've said kind of they kind of feel that my style kind of stands out a little bit because it isn't really modeled after anybody else. And with a lot of people, you can see they're definitely taking inspiration from various specific people. But that's one of the things I've always had with feedback is that people just said that your style is very unique to sort of me, and that's one
Yeah.
thing I hold with quite a lot of pride, to be honest.
Well, that's always good to hear, because regardless of it, how I see it as any style, any moves can be imitated. It's you putting your own spin on it, can make it
Mm.
your own. I, if I'm not mistaken, Kenny Omega mentioned that when he got in his recent interview where someone was mentioning how Seth Rollins is using a move that he uses as his new finisher.
Yeah, that knee strike.
Yeah, which straight away he actually says he actually respects him for using it and whatnot, but he actually
Mm.
doesn't take it as it's not his own. It's more or less they put their own spin on it,
Yeah.
which I'm pretty sure you put your own spin on your own moves and everything.
Mm.
So have you got any matches that you've in the past that you've actually absolutely loved being a part of? Any matches that you've been
Me,
involved?
yeah. One thing that really stands out is the matches that I had with Mickey Rowley at the end of 2016 at AEW. The feedback we had for those matches was amazing. One person actually went on to say it was one of the best main events they've seen, in a long time, which really I still remember because that's like a comment that really meant a lot to me. And just everyone says that you put me and him in the ring, we could just have absolutely belting matches every single time, and that's something it really makes me really means a lot to me, being someone who doubted myself a lot.
Yeah, and I can imagine that being a bit of peer pressure because in a industry where you have to have a lot of people don't have an ego, but you have to have one in wrestling.
Mm,
But everyone's different. But it's good. It's always good to be level headed and being grounded at the same time. Where it's always nice getting nice feedback and whatnot. So I take it you're one of them people who if you actually got given feedback, you actually take it on board and see how you can improve yourself.
oh, definitely, 100%. Yeah, I mean, sometimes some feedback's more helpful than others, but if someone tells me how I can improve and what it will actually do, what the effect will be of improving that way, then it's definitely something I take on board.
Basically, as long as it's criticism, then instead of just saying oh that's bad, literally explaining.
Yeah,
Yeah, because everyone's entitled to an opinion. They may not like it, but if they don't tell you how to improve it and not have you can take it with a pinch of salt.
yeah.
I
Everyone's
get
entitled to their opinion, but if they don't like me, I'm not saying their opinion's wrong, but it's definitely not correct.
it's it's different. That's how I put it.
Yeah.
That's how I would put it. So, have you got any people that you would like to face in the future?
Uh, well, Drill's got that UKWA championship, so he's definitely at the top of that list.
Oof, definitely, and quite the challenge as well. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think he's got a very unique style as well,
Yeah,
especially with being the heavyweight.
yeah.
So you'd have quite the challenge on your hands going for that. Is there anybody else you'd want you'd want to face other than anybody with a championship? Anybody interested
Uh,
in?
are we talking on the local level, or are we talking sort of like nationally?
Local, local for now, but then we can lead internationally.
Okay. I don't know. I've got in the ring with quite a few people, quite locally, lately. Yeah, I had a match with Johnny Storm on the last AWW show, which is a nice little feather in the cap.
Definitely, especially with being a British legend.
Yeah.
Definitely, I actually met him myself at Slam Wrestling, and I will say, so fun,
Yeah.
so fun.
I mean, I've kind of like he works regularly for AWW, so I've known him for quite a while. He's done a few training sessions there, and he's really easy to get on with. He's really nice.
That is absolutely fantastic, and got me a little bit envious of you now that you've had a match against him.
Yeah, it was me and Matt Lightning versus Johnny and the Judge in tag
Ah,
match.
I will say, the judge, most of the time, I always see him. He's always playing the villainous role. If I'm not mistaken, he's playing more of a. He's more liked around your area.
Well, he was up until he had a little run-in with me back in January. I said a few things he didn't like. He took exception to them, and he got up in my face, and I couldn't let that slide.
Oh, so I take it you took a swing at him.
I ended up having a match with him later on in the night. It was a little segment called the courtroom, where I basically said that all the veterans need to step aside and let the young blood take over.
And do you actually feel that way yourself, that the veterans should take a side step to the young bloods?
I think the young blood should get a lot of exposure, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can go. Well, it's hard for me to say that because I'm in the realm of in between. Because with myself, I'm not exactly old in age, but I've actually been around the wrestling business, been involved in the wrestling business myself for over 12, 13 years. So I wouldn't exactly say I'm young in that sense. So it's a bit. It's with me. It's more. I have to be on the fence. I'd say you need to have the youth to be able to be prepared to take over, but also you need to have the experience to be able to teach the youth. That's how I see it. But so is there anybody? Is there anybody who you think will be a future star? Any rising stars on the British scene from what you've seen so far?
I would say probably the most obvious pick is someone I've known for quite a few years is Omari. I can see big things coming for him.
Right. Any reason why?
He's always just had it, the presence in the ring, the ability to do pretty much whatever is needed.
So you think he's got like, the it factor and everything? He's able to be entertaining no matter what.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Anybody else you want to mention in that category?
Well, I've got to say Drake Wynter, haven't
I? Okay. We'll allow that one because we didn't say excluding yourself. But anybody else other than yourself and who you've mentioned so far? Any others?
It is hard to kind of pinpoint specific people and say that I expect big things from them because honestly, like there's nobody I've really seen who I'm going to sit there and say they don't have the potential.
No, so, we're not saying that have the potential, but you see, it might not be. It doesn't have to be something where it's going to be a megastar now. It could be just something you can just see something that either with time or with pressure could turn into like a diamond in the rough. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those questions that I'd like to sort of name a lot of people, but at the same time, it's kind of
hard to filter through.
It is, yeah.
No, that's fine. And with that, do you have any future goals for yourself to aspire to?
I think probably the obvious one is sort of to make a name for myself, to sort of work around the country, working with the top talent sort of thing.
So to get your name out there.
Yeah. To work with PCW, ICW, that sort of lot.
Any goals to get to possibly acquire some championship gold?
Oh yeah, I've got my sights on a few things that I definitely am going to be trying to add to the bucket list.
Well, how I see it is any company that you do go to, and it's something I've actually mentioned on previous interviews and also on the broadcast. If you're ever wrestling for a company, if you're not aspiring to become a champion, why are you there?
Yeah. The champion is who everybody's eyes are on, and that's what I want to be.
Exactly, and I can understand that. So, do you think you could aspire to take a championship off anybody, and If so, who do you think you'd have the best chance with?
Well, I mentioned earlier that how me and Mickey Rowley have had a load of great battles in the past. He's currently the AWW British champion, so that's a good place to start. Drill, being the UKWA champion, is definitely somebody who I would like to be in the ring with to try and take that title from him.
And is there a third, or is that just it? Is that your main two targets for now?
For now, those are the ones who I feel I'm the closest to for at the moment.
No, that's fine. That's understandable. So, is there anything anything that you see yourself? How would you do you see yourself in 5 years' time on the British scene?
I see myself at the very least being one of those people who a lot of wrestling fans are aware of and will travel to go and see. That's the immediate goal.
I get you, to get your name recognised to the point where they hear your name and they're willing to travel for you.
Yeah.
That sort of fandom. I can relate to that. I really can. Because I've actually had one fan surprise me once, because I was travelling with myself being from Stoke, travelling to a Wales show, and found out a fan had followed me from Stoke to Wales.
Oh.
I will say, a fair trek that is.
Yeah, I've got a few people who have started following me on various social media who some of them live in Liverpool, some of them live in Stoke-on-Trent or whatever, who are willing to travel down to Birmingham and Telford being the main two places where I work at the moment to come and see me. But as of yet, they haven't actually travelled down yet.
I get you. So at the moment in time, what companies are you currently wrestling for at the moment?
Well, I've only worked for 3 overall. One of them was a one-off, as you know. The main two that I work for regularly are AWW, Alternative Wrestling World, and the Academy Wrestling in Telford, and then obviously I did EPW last month.
And is there any companies? Well, you've already mentioned a few of them earlier, like PCW. Is there any targets for any other companies that you would like to be wrestling for?
Locally, I think that the one that I would like to the most is probably Kamikaze. On the more broader scale, I'd say probably BWP, 3CW up north.
Yeah.
The companies like that.
And that's all good. That's all good. I'm surprised you didn't mention wrestling in Hinckley.
Wrestling in Hinckley is definitely one that I've been following. At the moment, I've had no real contact with them, but it's one that I'm definitely interested in going to.
That's always good. That's good. If we're like ourselves, we always recommend to our fans, if there's any local shows in the area, to check them out and everything, or if they have to, always check out the local wrestling. Cause
definitely, I definitely agree with that.
Because it's always great family fun.
Yeah.
Always. And as you know, because with myself, I actually travel from Stoke to like the academy shows and whatnot. So it's about an hour drive, and what's so good about it is I always have a good time at wrestling shows, regardless. So the hour drive there and hour drive back feels justified because the shows are always good.
Yeah, I will say that when I was just watching shows, because I don't go to wrestling shows to watch them anymore, obviously, but before I was training and before I was on shows, I did it quite a lot, and I always preferred the local wrestling scene to the more sort of WWE based shows.
Yeah,
they always felt a lot more sort of personal, and it felt like there was a lot more effort put into them.
It does, especially with you being there, because you can feel the vibe, the energy, and everything as well. And plus, there's always more fan interaction as well at local shows as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think so. With that, I think that's probably going to be a good wrap up time for this interview. Is there any way anybody can check you out, keep in touch, and be able to follow you?
Yeah, I have a Facebook page, which is probably my main point of call. Facebook.com/Drake Wynter. I have an Instagram account as well under the Drake Wynter name, and I've also got a Twitter account, which I don't use the Twitter as much but I can be found on Twitter.
That's good. That's good. And I have to say thank you very much for your time that you've taken out for this interview. We appreciate it because we understand that you're heavily preparing for upcoming matches, and and are so busy preparing yourself.
Yeah, I've got a good few shows coming up in the next few months, and I'm obviously looking to add more as well. So I just want to put it out there. I am available for bookings.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. So if anybody's a booker or anything, do send a message to Drake Winters if you're interested in booking him. I'm pretty sure you'll be happy with the result. So with that, I have to say thank you very much for your time and whatnot. So appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, welcome. And I think that concludes our interview today, folks. So with that, as always, we always recommend you check out your local wrestling. We do actually mention that you check out any of our past interviews or past broadcasts or podcasts if you're interested, and we do recommend you do check out the UK Wrestle Fan Zone, or also known as the UKWA, which is the UK Wrestling Alliance. So with that, stay well, stay safe, and catch you soon, folks.